The year is 1915. Cole Motor Company of Indianapolis, Indiana would design their own V8 only 1 year after Cadillac and around the same time as Apperson, Cunningham, and Peerless. Anyway, the major thing that sets the Cole apart is that Cole was the first V8 to have detachable heads, which was huge. Cadillac's original first V8 did not have detachable heads, meaning if you had to do any top end work, you had to go through the bottom to do it. The Cole V8 was designed by Charles Crawford, who was the chief engineer over at Cole. But before getting into all of it, let's talk a little bit about Cole, because Cole was an automotive manufacturer that should be remembered as more than just a footnote in automotive history. Joseph Jared Cole, oftentimes just referred to as J.J. Cole, was born March 23rd, 1869, on a farm in Waterloo, Indiana. Like most people during this era, JJ grew up on a farm, working the fields, milking the cows, hard work, and it was done mostly by hand. And like most people, JJ absolutely hated farming, and as soon as JJ graduated high school at the age of 16, he got the heck out of there, going to college for business. JJ would get into the carriage business. First with Perry Manufacturing of Indianapolis, Indiana, and then later he went to the Moon Brothers of St. Louis. J.J. Cole wasn't an engineer, but an avid mechanic, designer, innovator, and through working at all of the different carriage companies, it gave J.J. insight of the ins and outs of the carriage business. JJ would start dabbling in making his own car in the early 1900s at his shop in Rockford, Illinois. In 1904, JJ would purchase 50% interest in Gates Osborne Carriage Company of Indianapolis. JJ used the capital that he made selling carriages. Turns out JJ was one hell of a salesman and who was able to save $25,000 solely from commissions from carriages he sold. In 1905, Gates Osborne Carriage Company would be renamed to Cole Carriage Company. By 1907, Cole Carriage Company produced 3,000 carriages in 49 different models. Also by 1907, the carriage business started to soften, and it really got JJ thinking about pivoting to automobile production. J.J. Cole would bring in Charles S. Crawford, who helped him design the very first Cole car, produced in a barn, high-wheeler type with solid tires. It was powered by a two-cylinder, 14-horsepower internal combustion engine. In 1909, Cole would build an all-new design called the Series 30, powered by a four-cylinder producing 30 horsepower. The car featured a drop-forged steel channel frame on a 108-inch wheelbase. Cole would purchase drivetrains from manufacturers that had a reputation of building quality engines, transmissions, axles, and assembled the cars in-house. It's important to note that Cole Motor Company was started as a subsidiary or a separate company. In case it would fail, it wouldn't take the carriage company with it. But when it was clear that carriages were a thing of the past, the two companies would merge. Cole would get into automotive racing and hired race car driver Bill Endicott to race their car, the Flyer, which was a lightweight and powerful car. Bill got the nickname of Wild Bill. The Cole Flyer got a class speed record of 68.5 miles per hour over a 10-mile race, and was the only $1,500 car to finish the 24 hours of Brighton Beach. Another driver by the name of W.H. Johnson would drive the Cole Flyer in a Chicago economy run, getting an average of 23.8 miles to the gallon. J.J. Cole would purchase a Wright Brothers biplane, which interestingly enough had the same engine as the Cole race car. The biplane would also have the same name as the race car, the Cole Flyer. Having a Duran Duran-like complex, they liked the name so much they used it twice. Robert Fowler, who was a race car driver and aviator, would fly the Cole Flyer. Fowler would fly coast to coast. It took him 4 months to go from San Francisco to New York. The journey was fraught with many life-threatening close calls, crashes, and failures, but he did it, and was the second person in history to do so. Because of all the publicity around both the Cole Flyers, the car and the plane, Cole would build a new factory to meet the demand for motor cars. Henry Ford oftentimes gets full credit for the assembly line, but Cole had an assembly line concept at their new factory. The car frames would travel on wooden dollies throughout the plant, stopping at various times to have parts added. 1912 saw the release of a new model called the Series 40, which was bigger and more luxurious, more robust type of car. In 1913, J.J. Cole would use the term standardized car. He didn't really like the term assembled car. Also by 1913, Cole was using Northway motors for their engine, clutches, transmissions, Timken axle, Bosch ignition. Cole cars were made of the finest ingredients and assembled to the highest of quality. It's also worth pointing out that Cole was on par with Pierce Arrow, Peerless, Packard, aka the three Ps of prestige, as well as Cadillac. In 1913, Cole also introduced a six-cylinder model, the Model 60. In 1914, Cadillac would introduce a V8, but it's important to note that the Cadillac V8 wasn't the very first V8 in the world. That title goes to an engine by the name of Antoinette from France, with the very first working prototype around 1903, but Cadillac would offer the first stateside V8. Designed by Cadillac, built by Northway. Upon learning about Cadillac's new V8 engine, JJ would send his engineer Charles Crawford to Northway to design a V8 engine of their very own. Northway Engine Company was founded by Ralph Norway around 1903, originally called Eureka Manufacturing Company. Ralph got financial assistance from Henry Ford, and the company was to originally build/manufacture parts for Ford cars. The company expanded rapidly. They would soon offer a line of axles, engines, and transmissions. In 1904, Eureka Manufacturing Company would change their name to Northway Motor and Manufacturing Company. Northway Company was purchased by William Durant in 1909 for General Motors. But worth pointing out that Northway would still do engine contracts for various companies. Just for reference, the Cadillac V8 was 314 cubic inch displacement, 90-degree L-head V8 that produced 70 horsepower, 2400 RPM, about 180 pound-feet at 1800 RPM, and was put in the Type 51. Cole's design was larger in displacement at 346.3 cubic inch displacement. The Cole V8 also used 90-degree cylinder bank angle. Valves were right next to the pistons inside the block. L-head design, 2 valves per cylinder, 1 intake, 1 exhaust. The huge difference was the heads were detachable, making the Cole design the first practical V8 for sale in the USA. The block was cast iron, bronze, Stromberg, Series H, updraft carburetor in the center. Another really cool thing to point out is the exhaust location. It exits the top of the block and the intake runs underneath it. Sources conflict on power output for the very first year, but made 70 horsepower, and the first cars had issues. Just like first of anything, there's always teething problems. The V8 would become the sole engine option in Cole cars. Once all the teething issues were addressed, in 1918, horsepower would increase to 80 horsepower. The V8 engine would also get a counterbalanced crankshaft. 346.3 cubic inch displacement, L-head V8, 5.7 liters. It's good for anywhere between 70 to 80 horsepower, 2800 RPM, an estimated 150 pound-feet or 203 newton meters, around 1600 RPM, with a bore of 3.5 inches and a stroke of 4.5 inches. 3 main bearings, aluminum pistons. Years this engine was used was between 1915 through 1924. 1919 would be the best year for Cole, selling 6,625 cars. At the end of the year, Cole was worth $4.7 million and made $1.7 million profit, making it one of the largest companies in the United States, second only to Cadillac. Unfortunately, black clouds rolled in that next year. The beginning of the year looked promising, but halfway through the year, the U.S. economy got blindsided by a crippling recession. The automotive market suffered big time. About half of the automotive market would disappear. Cole was able to hang on Things did get better by 1922, but Cole never sold as many cars as they did in 1919. By October of 1924, Cole stopped production after only building 932 cars and sought to liquidate the company, which was able to pay back a return on investment to its stakeholders. Unfortunately, J.J. Cole never saw the end of the liquidation because he would die of heart disease suddenly on August 8th, 1925. Cole would build 40,717 vehicles from 1909 through 1925, of which only 77 are known to survive. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. One scenario today. But which one would you rather have? 1915 Cole Demi Sedan or 1923 Cole Coupe or 1924 Cole Sedan? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below or shoot me an email at what_its_like@yahoo.com. Thanks again for everything that you guys bring in the comment section. I love reading the stories. I love reading the comments. I love reading the memories that you guys share about these cars. And keep it up. I really enjoy it. Till next time, toodaloo!